if you missed everything that happened during today's session, do not worry. We're getting you caught up right now on the only stocks you need to know about. It's time for your top 10. Number 10 is Boeing. The commercial aircraft company's stock is up about 0.5% on news that airline Lufthansa has split an order of 59 wide-body aircrafts from Boeing and Airbus. The purchase was valued at $19 billion. Deliveries of the 34 Boeing 777-9Xs are set to be delivered in 2020.
I'd like to go to that Boeing plant. That is my kind of field trip. All right. Disney, the stock is down about 2% today. The company was cut to equal weight from overweight over at Morgan Stanley for the first time in more than 4 years. The entertainment company also delayed the release of 2 of its Pixar unit movies coming out, The Good Dinosaur and Finding Dory, which is a follow-up to Finding Nemo. They're pushing that back by 18 months. That leaves the animation studio, by the way, without an annual release for the first time since 2005.
And here...
Oh, and by the way, make sure you stick around because it's Bloomberg TV's CFO Week. We're going to be speaking with the CFO of Disney, Jay Rasulo. That is coming up.
And speaking of releases of a different kind, Take-Two Interactive stock is rising just a little bit, up over 1%. The software developer's latest addition to its wildly successful Grand Theft Auto franchise set a new sales record. It netted $800 million in just one day. The debut of Grand Theft Auto 5 was the biggest ever for Take-Two.
All right, number 7 is Groupon, up about 10%. As Stephen Nicholas upgraded the daily deal site to buy from hold citing continued acceleration in its core U.S. local business, increased mobile usage, and improved margins.
Rite Aid surging. The stock up, get this, 24%. It's the third largest drugstore chain here in the U.S., and it's up on an unexpected second quarter profit. That was due to continued sales growth, stronger margins, I will say so. Rite Aid also raised its earnings forecast for the year, despite saying that it expects a lower benefit from the new generic drug payouts.
And how often does this number happen at number 5? Pandora saying it's going to sell more shares, and yet the stock is up more than 6%, in fact. It's at a record. The biggest web radio service priced an expanded offering of a new stock, $25 a share. The company announced today it'll sell 13 million shares. That's an increase from the 10 million that it reported just about a week ago. So it's, odd here. We're selling more shares even than we already said, but it's because the demand for the shares is so high. So this company went public back in 2011 and is at a record today.
Well, I mean, this is the future, right, of radio.
Bingo.
The idea that, you can get in your car at some point and listen to Pandora or Spotify or any of these services, that's where it's going. So.
Well, but interesting here that you can listen to any of these services, and yet Pandora really does seem to be doing the best in terms of performance. And you're going to have iTunes, you're going to have Apple Radio, etc.
All right, number 4 is Pier 1 Imports, plunging down more than 13% after second quarter sales missed analyst estimates. The home furnishing store also cut its earnings forecast for the year.
Apple shares are up almost 2%. It's the eve of Apple's big product launches, right? The iPhone 5S and the 5C. For the first time, the company's going to release its newest handsets in China on the same day as they're doing so here in the U.S., Europe, and Japan. Big day for Apple.
And number 2 is not a stock, but we got to talk about gold because it's up almost 5%, skyrocketing on the back of that Fed announcement yesterday that the stimulus is not going anywhere for now.
All right, we're moving on to the number 1 of the day, and we're talking about JPMorgan, down more than 1%. The Wall Street giant is paying $920 million in penalties and admitting wrongdoing to settle charges with 4 regulators over the London whale probes. But JPMorgan's not in the clear yet, still facing investigations by the CFTC, Department of Justice, and state attorney generals.